You have won the deal, the contract is signed. Most people think the hard part is over, but this is actually the moment that determines success or failure. This is the handoff. It is not just a document transfer, it's a transfer of trust and context. If you treat this as a 15-minute good luck email, your project will start broken. Here's how you execute a professional launch in 4 phases. Phase 1 is the internal knowledge transfer, where the sales lead passes the soft context to the delivery team. Before you even talk to the client, you need the information that isn't written in the contract. First, you need the stakeholder map. Who is your champion and who is the skeptic with the power to veto the project? Second, you need to understand the real business pain. Proposals list technical requirements, but discovery reveals the actual trauma. You need to know what is keeping the sponsor up at night. Finally, you must identify the deal assumptions. What did the sales team assume to hit this price point? If they assumed the data was clean when it is actually a mess, you need to know that right now. Phase 2 is the internal kickoff. This is where the delivery team meets alone to align and prepare using the context you just gathered. First, you need to define the technical North Star. Make sure everyone is aligned on the architecture and the technology stack you will be using. Second, establish a definition of done. Be very specific about what features complete actually means for this particular project. Finally, set up your communication escalation path. Decide who gets the first call when a blocker hits. You do not want to be figuring this out during a crisis. Finally, set up your communication escalation path. Decide who gets the first call when a blocker hits. You do not want to be figuring this out during a crisis. Phase 3 is the client kickoff. This is your first impression and the moment you shift the relationship from selling to executing. First, you must reconfirm the scope, walk through the statement of work line by line, and explicitly state what you are not building. Second, set your boundaries, establish your service level agreements. If you need a decision from the client, make it clear that you expect a response within 24 hours to keep the timeline on track. Finally, present the project charter. Hand over a single page that outlines the goals, milestones, and key contacts. This shows the client that the execution of their project is now in a safe pair of hands. Phase 4 is week 1 execution. This week is all about setting the trajectory and proving your approach. You have 3 main objectives. First is data and access validation. You need to make sure you actually have the keys to the kingdom and can access everything you need. Second is building the baseline model. Create a thin thread of the solution to prove the concept is possible before you commit a month of work to it. Finally, there is the Thursday update. Send a crisp, data driven status report with no fluff. It should cover exactly what you did, what you found, and any current blockers. To wrap up, you can identify success signals to know if your kickoff worked. You are on the right track if the client is responsive and provides data access immediately. It is a win when the team clearly understands the scope boundaries. Finally, success means the hidden skeptics are being actively engaged rather than ignored. A successful handoff is a skill. Do it with care, or you will spend the next 6 months fighting fires you could have prevented on day one. Ultimately, a project's success isn't decided during a sprint or a final demo, it's decided in the first 72 hours. The difference between a project that delivers 10 times the value and one that ends in a messy dispute is simply the quality of the handoff. By moving from a casual transition to a disciplined transfer of information, you protect both your team's time and your own reputation. Remember these 4 points. First, transfer the context of the deal, not just the contract. Second, align your team before you align the client. Third, set boundaries early to prevent scope creep. And fourth, use the first week to prove your approach works, not just to plan it. If you master the kickoff, you will find that the rest of the execution takes care of itself. Thanks for watching. Now go run a great project.